All right. So we are live on the show. The social experiment running for a couple seconds. What I'm gonna do is we got to make sure the sound and everything is running smoothly. So it might take a little second for us to get in. But I have my guest, Miss Samantha Randall. She's on the show today. She's gonna be asking some questions about the city council run. Trying to figure out what made me decide to run. Did you hear that thing? Can you hear that?
I can't. No.
Okay, cool, perfect. It's on the headset then. Yeah. So we're gonna have a little discussion about the election, this upcoming primary election. I'm running for city council. I've been reaching out to different people to see if I can get some questions from them, get different perspectives and things like that. So we'll get started. First and foremost, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself. I usually let everybody go and introduce themselves so they can kind of give their info out or whatever the case may be.
All right. I am Samantha Randall. I am the owner, operator, creator, and chef at Sauce Vegan Restaurante, as well as Sunday Vegan Desserts and Ice Cream Truck. I am a local published author, and among other things, I am an animal rights activist and vegan activist, helping this community do good, and be better than we can.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So we got the introduction. We got it up and running. I believe that the sound is cool. Like I said, I've had a couple of different folks come on the show to interview me to ask different questions about the city council run, as far as why I'm running. And usually the first question that I start off with asking people is like, what made you interested in coming on to have this conversation and be willing to interview me?
I am very much immersed in the community, and I like to know what someone being in public service is going to do to promote better ways in this community, and how you, specifically you, are going to make an impact in the community. That's what I want to know.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully I can answer the questions.
Find out.
And see how we move forward. So I'm ready to go. It's up to you. So it's up to you. Ball's in your court. Yeah, let's go. Okay. Nah, I'm not nervous. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, let's start off the top here. Question 1. Why you?
Why me? Okay. So to give a little bit about myself, I was born and raised in Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm 39 years old. Growing up in Erie, Pennsylvania, like the way the community was when I was younger, like it was kind of like when everybody says it takes a village. We had the whole village mentality thing going on. So the after school programs that were running, they impacted my life. The community centers, the free lunch in the park, and then it was just different individuals who were in the community, who were leaders, who were very active in the community. And I see that we're lacking that. We're lacking leadership. We're lacking a sense of community. I think that there's a generation of people who just stopped doing the work that was offered to them and afforded for them. And then I also see that there are a lot of people who are trying to make changes and create their own ways, and resources are necessary in order for those changes to be created.
That's true.
And I believe that people aren't aware of the resources that are available. And through some of the work that I've done in the past and through some of the research that I've been doing and obtaining, in the knowledge that I've been obtaining, I'm realizing that there are resources available. There are individuals who aren't getting information about the resources. So there are people who have aspirations to do great things in Erie, and they're being missed, or that audience isn't being met, to where it's just kind of like, if we had somebody at the table who was getting the information and then had a connection with individuals who have great or bigger aspirations to deliver some of that information, then we can kind of all benefit from, making Erie a better place for us all to live and for us to all thrive within the city. So it's more of a, how can I be a conduit of hope? How can I be a beacon of change for individuals who take pride in Erie, who love Erie, who are doing great things in Erie, but sometimes they're missed, or sometimes they are misrepresented or misunderstood to the point to where they aren't involved in some of the things that's going on. So it's more or less so of a, how can we provide more of an because the council consists of 7 individuals.
Sure.
So how can we have more, more perspectives on council, more different outlooks, and more people who are connected to individuals who are doing different things in the city?
Incredible. That's a great point. I also attest to that there are so many beautiful artists in this town, beautiful artists that are roadblocked in certain things, grant funding, ways that they can be supported, ways that they can be transformed into a place of business. They just don't know how to get from A to B, but they're beautiful and talented. And you would be a point man to explain that your talent is far good enough and you are able to get to the next level. Let me show you. Let's have a community night. Let me show you how to fund for grants, grant writing. Things like that are so necessary for younger generations too, that just somehow maybe just that got missed like I know what you're saying, it's a misconnection somewhere where they could really, really benefit from all of the local resources if they knew how to access them. Because there are plenty.
Absolutely.
It just takes a lot of digging, and some don't have a good mentor to show them that way. You know, that's willing to do what they can to help everybody succeed. Because in a community like this, we all want to succeed, right? So the weakest link, you're just not the weakest link. You just don't know how to get to B. So let me just get you to B because I'm there. So like, let's keep moving together.
Exactly. And then I feel like a lot of people are uncomfortable with seeking out that information.
Yes.
So then when you go to certain places or you go to certain offices and you're looking for information when you're already uncomfortable and you don't see a familiar face or you don't feel a familiar spirit or vibe, it's more like some people count themselves out before they get there because they don't feel like they belong or they don't feel connected.
You do
and what
belong
I would like
there,
to do is
everybody needs to realize that you belong everywhere you should be. There's a place for every single person at the table. Do not be discouraged if you can't find the way, because there'll be somebody either like myself or Deontay that will help you get there. Because it's not an easy road to get to all of these things and do all of this stuff. You just got to put the work in, but never be discouraged. Like I would never want that for someone, especially when you're so beautifully talented and have so much to offer this world. Just keep going.
Absolutely.
So you are a good candidate. Let's see here. What are you going to do to make a lasting impact on this community?
So again, I'm talking about like the way the village mentality was like growing up when I was younger. What I realized is throughout that time, there are families who have been able to establish themselves within the Erie community to where some family names within this city are like staples within the community.
Okay, yes.
And what I would like to do is allow individuals to be able to like build their family names to where it won't necessarily just be my legacy, but it will be opportunities for individuals to create family legacies within their own, if that's business, if that's education, if that's work, if that's art, if it's religion, whatever the case may be. But again, empowering individuals with resources to be able to have staples in the community to where it's like, I want to raise my family here. I belong here. This is what Erie should look like and should feel like. So it's more or less how much more I can do for other people to make them feel like they belong here. And how can I help people establish themselves here? I want people to be able to be like, you know what? I know when I had a conversation with Deontay or after I had a meeting with Deontay, he was able to help me X, Y, and Z to where the legacy is I was a good counsel person. The legacy is I was a good counsel person. I had a high level of integrity. I was willing to help people get to the next level and things like that, because it's important I believe it's important for us to be able to root our families in the cities that we live in. So I guess that would be that's very important for me, but that would be one of the main things that as far as families in the city of Erie to be able to have some roots here. I definitely want my family to have some roots here, and I don't want it to just be based on public service or religion, but more of if it's business or how are we making money, you know what I mean? How are we thriving and how are we giving back to our community?
If you were good human beings that did good and were good for all those around you, you know what I mean? And you are a community leader by the things that you do. You're a great dad. You do all these different things, and you're inspiring in a lot of different areas. And I think as I ask these questions, you'll understand more about all areas of what you do all make sense as a whole, right? Same thing with me. I start all of these businesses. I do all of these things because they all matter to animal rights activism, right? Same thing. You're just doing the thing for public service. And with the people, which I care about as well, you're just on the forefront to make things more accessible. Maybe a better website that people can access, things like that. Just simpler things that some people may just have a little, anxiety about, that they just are too afraid to ask. But you should never be afraid to ask for help, because, freedom is on the other side of asking for help, right? So just take the moment, and I really think you'll be able to do that. That'd be really cool. Good. Right. Hard-hitting questions.
I'm ready for them. I like the way they're coming, though. I will say that. You were definitely well prepared.
Being in a community that doesn't always support you as they should, why do you still want to make a difference in the same community?
I mean, I guess honestly for that same reason, because I believe that is a way to keep people out. And there are a lot of people who aren't supported within the city of Erie who are still here trying to get their foot in the door or to be accepted or to be involved.
Yes.
And I believe that it comes a point in time where somebody has to stand up and do something. You know what I mean? Somebody has to be willing to get uncomfortable and be an advocate for the underdog, be the underdog themselves that's willing to put themselves out there for everybody else, because I'm not going to allow myself or the people who I feel like I represent die off. We have to figure out a way to coexist within this world anyway.
Right.
So why not take advantage of the opportunity to learn about the opportunities to offer them to other people? Because I definitely understand that it's not statistically, it's not meant for people like myself to win.
Right.
But then also there are people who are, the statistics aren't 100% who are willing to take the chance to, you know what I mean,
Right.
tip the scale. So
Yes.
the goal is to tip the scales and to help and bring as many people with me as I possibly can. So then that way it can look a little bit more equitable as than what it has been in the past. And we don't have to feel anxious about asking for opportunity. We don't have to be afraid to seek opportunity. And we don't have to be intimidated about doing any work or applying for any jobs and positions that are available for any person.
We're all equals, you know, and there shouldn't be any hierarchy here, because sometimes names do hold different value in this community from wealth, right? From a different perspective. But there could be another family that are great at making cupcakes, let's just say, the best cupcakes you have ever had. But for whatever reason, their cupcakes don't sell as good as the name of a certain brand that's just been here, because people get it ingrained in their minds that they're good, everything else is bad. This good, that's bad. And that's a very wrong way of thinking and very closed-minded way of thinking, which is very hard for me to understand, being a very open person, very, very open-minded. Together, like I say, we can always make a difference. We can, and by doing that and by bringing along that family, I want the family that has these great underground cupcakes to be the forefront of what cupcakes should taste like. These are number one. Not some place that's been around for 50 years. Great. It doesn't say that they're not bad. It's just to say that 50 years later, there's somebody that could be a lot better.
Absolutely.
Okay? So then why aren't we like pushing them up to the forefront as well and giving somebody else a turn? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Not to say that one's better than the other. It's just to say everybody deserves a turn. Everybody deserves a spot in the spotlight. There's room for everybody.
Absolutely agree with that. And I feel like it's important that we encourage, some of the people who live in Erie, so it doesn't always be the same old thing to where like we're forcing people out. You know what I mean? Erie is the fifth, it is now the fifth largest city in the state of Pennsylvania. People are leaving here because they feel like there's no opportunities or we can't make a living wage. But then there are also families who are living here who are thriving, who are growing. So it's more of a, how do we figure out a way to get a balance? And I think it's using those resources and educating people on different things that are available to them.
It just needs to be a far more accessible is what I think. From a personal, trying to get grants and funding and everything like that as a small business owner, accessibility matters. And somebody who, you are an accessible person to these people. You're not scared away from you and what you're saying. You're willing to sit and listen. Not everybody else is willing to always do that. So this would be a great opportunity for not just you, but for everybody. Honestly, everybody wins at this point when you win, right? Let's see here. So you're a very brilliant, educated person. You're graduating next month, aren't you?
Yeah, May 11th. Yeah, graduation
With a
day. Master's degree in organizational leadership.
Wow, look at that. Being that educated, what is the value in your life? What value would this position also positively affect your career goals with what you've accomplished in education?
I think as far as like with my career goals, it will show that I'm able to work as a team player, like work with individuals, take other people's thoughts into consideration. As far as balancing budgets, being able to create policies, read, write, and understand policies, and have an impact on individuals. That's like the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to thrive. I don't feel like any person who's running for any elected official or any elected seat should have like thoughts of negativity or have any ill intentions. So I just feel like running on integrity, getting the seat, getting the position, and then running and holding the position from integrity, from honesty, from responsibility. It will show my characteristics.
And transparency. That's
absolutely.
Key. Transparency is 100% key in anything that you do in your life, because the moment you start to hide something, people will just automatically assume that something negatively is a connotation to that. And it's just, no matter how scary or uncomfortable it is, you should always be transparent in whatever you do.
Absolutely. Because I definitely know like people are looking for dirt anyway or trying to dig for dirt. So it's more like, why not put it out there and get in front of it before. You know what I mean?
So I said it. Now what? What are we going to do? Now what are we going to do? We're going to keep talking about it, right? I am the power here, so let's calm down.
So then, you know what I mean? Being able to do that, I feel like it would show, as far as a career moving forward, it would show like the responsible individual that I am, like showing like the caring, charismatic person that I am, who's willing to go above and beyond. And even like to the previous question, like willing to step out of my comfort zone,
sure,
to step into a place or a space that I may not be so welcoming to me or for me, and still be willing to put it on the line, because this isn't something that's like easy. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's not.
And the support is needed. You know what I mean? And it's hard to get support from people when you're legitimately just asking them for support, because it's like you're being vulnerable enough to give somebody the opportunity to tell you why they're not going to give you what you need.
No, why?
Right, exactly.
But why would you cut me off before you even thought about what I could benefit from you, or what your kids could benefit from this whole scenario if we just took the time to work together here? And I just think that maybe you're a beacon of change for that in a city council setting.
That's the purpose, and that's
different hope here.
That's the goal. That is ultimately the goal. I want people to look and feel like, if he can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
If he can do it, I can do it.
Anything.
And then even to be able to be, like you said, to be accessible. I have people who can contact me, phone call, Facebook, email, messenger, things like that, to feel like, wow, I have access to somebody who's sitting in a seat or sitting in a position to where they can actually have an impact on my life, impact on my neighborhood, impact on my children's lives, or impact on my city. It's just like, you know, we all want to feel connected to people. So, like, imagine having that connection to where you can, like, you know what, I got a city council person I'm finna text right now, or I got a city council person I can call on speed dial, or
so Deontay, you're
I
the
just had dinner.
People.
Absolutely.
You are.
Absolutely.
You're the people's people, because everybody matters, right? No matter how big, no matter how small. Ants are one of the strongest beings on the earth, and they're the smallest, right? Everybody matters along the way. So we need a whole team of everybody so that we can move forward as a community in specifically this town into like the new ages here.
Right.
Not, we're living in a very subdued mindset here. If you just woke up and realized what could be the potential ahead of you, it's just incredible. And I mean, you can really lead that by being a team player that takes the initiative, not technically a leader, because you are a team player, but you're taking the initiative to get everybody to follow suit and follow, that we can make bigger changes together. Really, truly.
Right, absolutely. And that's important too, to get people to understand that, like, our voice matters.
Always does.
Our opinions matter, our work matters. And like, at one point in time, we never thought that, or we never felt that. It was just kind of like, it's just a vote, or nobody really cares. But as I'm getting older and I'm learning a lot more things, I'm just like, even just the presence of people at certain times, certain events, or certain spaces, like, people look at that. Oh wow, all those people out there, they must be in business. We're gonna listen. We're gonna listen to the person who is speaking.
Correct.
So I mean, even the importance of people just showing up is something that I'm trying to like emphasize and educate people on. Like, you don't even have to say anything. Sometimes I just need you to be here.
If you're, bodies in the room bring a certain impact and energy to the person that you're supporting. I will also attest to this, that it could be hard putting yourself out there, right? Putting yourself out there, owning a business, doing anything, living your life the way you want to live it, right? It puts you out there to a certain vulnerability, and it's scary, right? Like, I mean, it could be very, very scary, but you know that there's a greater cause for what you're doing, and just to have somebody there, just in the room, sitting, doing what you could be doing whatever it is you're doing, but I just know that you're there, brings a sense of comfort that I'm not alone, that I can definitely do this, and you're all just little building blocks to put me up on that building block that day, and then I'll take that turn and go back down when it's your turn, and then I'm going to bring you back up on the steps, and we're going to keep moving those building blocks, because we really do build a community together.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Really
absolutely. We have to coexist here.
We do. All right, let's see what else I got for you. What can this community do to help you help them all? Help everyone?
Oh, okay. I like that question. That's a great question, honestly. I feel like what the community can do is just be active. You know what I mean? Be present and be aware of, first of all, I want to say be aware of my run. Pay attention to some of the things that I'm posting and some of the things that I'm talking about, because I feel like I can articulate messages to people who need to hear them from people who have a difficult time articulating them in a manner to where that message will be received.
Sure.
If that makes sense. So I need more people.
We should do an online platform like that. Do you have your website up yet?
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't have an actual website, no.
So if we got some website developers, we could definitely use some help on this campaign to get Deontay a website up and going, because then we could have a weekly Q&A with you where your questions come in from people that may be a little too scared to give you a call or whatever. Send a message in, and then we can, you can review those on a weekly basis to show like this. Yeah. On a larger scale, though, from people that have more accessibility to you, which would be a really good.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, because that would be important. You know what I mean? Like, people need to be more involved, especially to understand what local government impacts our everyday life. You mean, as opposed to people worrying about national government, like people complaining about the trash cans not being picked up at a certain time, or the streets not being plowed, or the sidewalks not being done. And I feel like people were aware of what you could do with local government, and they got out and voted, register people to vote, or, you know what I mean, and just let people know who they were voting for.
The most powerful thing you can do is register to vote.
Absolutely.
In any capacity. The day you turn 18 should be that you should already have that filled out and ready to ride. Like, absolutely.
And then make it to the polls.
Every time.
That's another thing. Like, a lot of people will register, but it seems like people are only going to make it to the polls when it's a presidential.
You can vote by mail now. So, I mean, there's other ways. There are other ways that is valid. It's not a scam. It's not what anybody wants you to think that it is. It is tried and true, and that's just the way that the world works now.
Right.
You know what I mean? To not always be in person, but you still have the power to vote, and your voice still matters.
Absolutely. Good. Yeah, so, I mean, getting as much support as I can possibly get for those people who agree with why I'm running. I'm not even going to say why we're running, why we want to see, and some of the things that we are able to do and would like to do moving forward.
Change your mindset, because you understand that we are a we,
right?
Absolutely. And like together, I know that me and you could do something great. You know what I mean? We could make a difference impactfully just doing something here together today.
Right.
Imagine if there was 50 more of us doing the same thing together, listening to everybody's ideas, trying to troubleshoot what we need to get troubleshooted, and just giving out platforms where people can try new ways. You know what I mean? Figure out so they're not stuck anymore.
Right.
I think that's really great. I think that's wonderful. So you're a girl dad, right?
Right. Well, I have 3 sons with 5 daughters.
Yeah. So I mean, but
girl
I'm
dad,
gonna go
for sure.
Girl dad.
Yeah.
But so in today's world, it's filled with children that may not have always had a positive role model or parent in their life. How will this position let you help those who needed a little extra to know that they can count on a person that's positive like you for some guidance in life?
So I love that question. I think and that's another reason why I would like to be in the seat and hold a position, because like when people say representation matters, I feel like I still have an attraction to me that is influential to the youth and attractive to the youth, to where people will kind of figure out or make decisions as far as, do I want to be like him or not? Like, and what was his path? What was his story? What was his journey? And then as people learn a little bit more about me and some of the things that I've been through in my life, it'll be more of I have an opportunity to get on the right path. I have an opportunity to get on the right track. And although I made some mistakes in my life, I still can make a decision to be something different or be somebody different. And then even like, because with myself, like making connections with other individuals who can strengthen myself as far as being a father and having relationships with other men. You know what I mean? To like, a lot of us don't know how to be fathers. You know what I mean? Like, nobody give us a book.
Great. So
building and connecting with guys to where we can, figure it out together.
Diplo has a running group, right? Diplo, the DJ.
Okay.
He's incredible. He's got this running group that just shows up for him out of nowhere. He just crashes these running groups, and I think that's impactful, because a lot of people sometimes just need a little nudge, right? If something where there was like fathers building community together, you know what I mean? Where you got other young fathers, or fathers even, young fathers now are 40, right? It's just, it's a new era here, right? Where you guys could talk about fatherhood, or go on fatherhood walks with your kids, or do things that are together that may not have always been there, right? But dads sometimes need other dads to bounce ideas off of, right? Nobody knows what they're doing. It was like everybody's just a kid, just in different form, right? It just depends on how much you want to just take the initiative to be somebody else's guardian. Cool, different things like that. You have the power to make that accessible to other people. You know what I mean? Like fatherhood meetups on Sundays at the park with your kids, where we can discuss different things. The kids play, and everybody, how can we make this better for these kids? How can we make this better for ourselves? How can we do different things to just all do better together?
And the interesting thing about that is so there are organizations, but that's another thing as far as within Erie. Like when organizations create, then they become silos and it becomes competitive, as opposed to figuring out ways like, if our mission is very similar, how do we work together in order to accomplish the common goal, as opposed to getting the biggest check or getting the largest grant?
That's what I do in animal welfare. That's what I understand that we're all doing, bottom line is the same goal, right?
Right, exactly.
We're all here to save humans or animals alike, right?
Right.
So what is the big deal about not working together? You know
Right.
what I mean? Let's just do things together.
Uh-huh.
We can literally accomplish anything when we are packed by each other. Like, it's just incredible to think that other people wouldn't want to be that. But that brings me back to being a positive role model. You know, some days, some people just need that one person to be like, you know what? I saw this man do this. I saw her do that. I can do that too.
Right.
And then they are there for me, and that's all the switch that I needed to do whatever.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
You know, incredible.
Yeah, to either have somebody encourage you or you to be able to look at somebody
or
and
you
kind
can
of
go
like
to that room
relate.
and support those people. You don't even have to stay there.
Right.
Deontay, will you be here at my karate thing? That you
Right.
could have been the only person that showed up to this kid's karate show, but you were there.
Mhm.
And now this is the most well-renowned karate expert in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's all it takes is one person.
Absolutely. I remember, coaching football. My son played football for a couple of years. Like I coached football for his team, and what's interesting is like we didn't win one game.
Yes,
like the whole season, but
right.
I would tell you, like, those young men, they came to practice every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It was 20 people on the team. It was 20 people at practice every practice. You know, some kids, when they start losing, they don't want to show up.
Sure.
Like, I felt like they felt the vibe. The energy was great. Coaches around.
Mm-hmm.
The parents supported it. And then even, like, the messages we were delivering through our workouts and stuff like that, like, I noticed that, like, kids or young people will gravitate towards love. You know what I mean? Or they'll gravitate towards someone or something that makes them feel like they're noticed and they're present and in the room.
Passion.
You know what I mean? So even
empathy.
just being present, like, and doing different things and being active and being more involved. But like I was saying, I would also need support of other men or other people as well, because Mr. Andre Horton had told me one day when I asked him, like, why you didn't show up to me? He said, I can't be all things for all people.
That's correct.
And when he said that, like, I'm a type of person to where I just try to rip and run and fix and save and repair and help everything that I can. But what I realize is if we can find individuals who are willing to collaborate on some things, who have common goals and aren't so overly focused about the benefits or the funds that come in the mission, like, we can create and make some changes. And then once you start building those people, then the funds can come, because now what you've done is you've built a community of individuals who will work for you. And now
the community is your family, right?
Right. And then you figure out what the goal is. Yes.
So if I can't be there, well, then maybe you can be there for that, because you're just an extension of me, right? Because we are one. We're one big family that's trying to do everything together. So when people say, I would never support that, I would never go out and try to do those things, why wouldn't you, though? Because that's just going to help your kid's friend's sister, right?
Right.
Which down the pipeline affects it affects you or them. You know what I mean? Why? Okay, swing by. You can handle that one then. And then we just do that, and we just bounce everything off of each other. But there needs to be more of a easy, more free space, more safe space for people that would want to be involved but don't like the connotation that a city council and things like that, they don't know, because they've only know what they've seen and how it just doesn't help them. It always deters them.
Right.
So there needs to be more of a safer place for people to get more involved into all of the government aspects of the local community.
Absolutely. Or a safer person to be able to present it.
Definitely,
because again,
a safer
like,
person. Mm-hmm.
I was at a speaking forum earlier, and I was telling people, and I've said this to politicians, like, when you want my vote, you'll knock on my door.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll come to my barbershop, you'll come to my bar, you'll come to my community center.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you get my vote and you get to see and I have concerns, the first thing that you tell me is come to a city council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, no, why didn't you call my phone? You know, why won't you text me, or why won't you come to these places where you came to get our votes? So I think it's important to continue to stay amongst the people and meet them where they are, because everybody doesn't have the courage to go down to a city hall meeting and grab a microphone. Everybody doesn't have the courage to make a status on an elected official's Facebook page, but everybody has concerns about things in the city. So it's more of a, how do we hear from the citizens within the city of Erie who don't have the courage or the time or even the care to come to a city council meeting, but
that's
have
why you go to the
legitimate
parks
concerns.
with them.
Right, exactly.
You meet up to the parks with them. I mean, even let's just say in a scenario where you don't have this position, you're still going to do something, because you still have it in you, that you a fire basically, that you want to make a difference because you see that a difference needs to be made, right? So let's say, win or lose, what are you going to do? What are you going to instill just for yourself to get more people together to feel that they are accepted in the community to do more and that they have the power to do more?
I mean, continue to do the work.
Sure.
So first and foremost, if I do lose, there's another election in 2027. There'll be 3 seats available, and I will just run again.
Okay.
Because I feel like at this point, like, I'm locked in, and from the things that I've learned and all the knowledge that I've obtained, like, I feel like I would be one of the best people for the seat.
I agree.
As far as like having an impact, but then even outside of that, like continuing to reach out to the local nonprofits I did some work with the Love Your Block Erie as far as like helping clean up neighborhoods and things like that. Our West Bayfront, they have different programs going on there. I'm on the board of the
citywide issue though too. It's just the garbage issue. Period. That's a city issue. Like there should be more cleanups around, because why wouldn't you want to take care of your home?
Right.
I don't. Everybody wants to push it off as somebody else's problem, but it's really not. It's all of our problems.
Exactly.
It's not just one. It's everywhere.
Right.
So like that's another thing I think of. It's not just your problem. It's all of our problems for everything.
Right.
Like, we have to figure out a way just to remedy the situation.
Yeah, and some of the community organizations. So I know the Bayfront Eastside Task Force, they just had a neighborhood cleanup where they went through and picked up stuff. And like I said, Love Your Block Erie, at one point in time, they were having dumpsters and they were putting them in the neighborhoods. They were going actually knocking on people's doors to let them know when it was coming so that people had the opportunity to do so. I'm not sure if it was a time that they were going.
They don't have access to the right tools.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. The right government websites to find that information.
Right.
Some people aren't tech savvy with Facebook or anything like that. That's why people still sometimes heavily rely on posters and places. Warner Books, Ember & Forge, they have bulletin boards. Purista have bulletin boards that keep you abreast of what's going on.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen a flyer in there for something I didn't know was going on until I passed that flyer. Right. Which are very important. That means there are a lot of beautiful community things going on, but again, that's another accessibility issue. That's why you just have to get out and learn more and do more. And I really do think that there could be a lot better things going on if there were smaller, more Frontier Park meetup. We're all going for a walk. We go for Saturday morning walks. I would be inclined to do that. I bring my dog. I get to listen. We get to talk in a very unprofessional like setting. I think that's what steers people away too, because they don't feel comfortable in those settings. We could be out getting ice cream. We could be out at a food truck event. Like it could be anywhere. And I think more of that needs to happen to get people to be more connected.
Absolutely. And then even going back to the one question when you asked like how can people like help, it's more of a like, so finding champions in different communities that will be able to kind of like host those type of things. Right. And then be pretty much a council person to where like, let's say I report back and I'm speaking to somebody that's like somebody that's of the neurodivergent community. Like, hey, well, I heard you guys had a walk or whatever. How did that go? Any concerns that you all have that maybe we can address? Somebody from the LGBTQIA plus community. I think I got that right.
You're right.
But as far as like having those conversations, having a champion from that community to be, the new American community, the minority, like Latino, you know what I mean? Just having different individuals who I can consider and call a council to be like, okay.
To their neighborhoods, to their areas, to their restaurants, to their affiliations. Right. Because I know that they know other incredible poets, artists, artisans, chefs, bakers, and I want to get to know all of these people. Right. I want to start doing more with all of these people, trying new things. But let me call him over here. Let me call them over there. Right. And then you can do miniatures all over, and that is what a community is, by infiltrating every community in its community.
Absolutely. Just having a strong council of individuals who represent different pockets of life. So when we had those conversations, it's like I at least can say that I met with somebody that was the representative of a certain community that I'm not that knowledgeable about.
Sure.
To have those conversations, right? To at least be like, I did put forth effort. So then when the complaints do come, I'm like, well, I did attempt through this individual. Who else do I need to speak to? And being open to have conversations with individuals and listen. And also to be able, like when you're going back to that transparency, you have to be able to also let people know, I heard what you had to say. It will take into consideration, but at the end of the day, sometimes everybody's ideas don't pass. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that they weren't considered, they weren't listened to. Right. Sometimes some of us have some outlandish ideas. You know what I mean? Like we want to fly in cars. I listened to you say that.
Right.
But and that was just a reach. But to at least give people the opportunity to give you those ideas and throw that stuff out there, I feel like people connect to you more once they feel heard, and then also people can identify somebody who represents them. And when they feel like that person is at the meeting, or if that person is in the room, or that person is at the table, we as a whole or as a community are all right. So it's going to be important for me to identify some of those, for lack of better words, champions of communities that I'm not really connected to be able to have a council of individuals.
You're on your journey. You're already on your way. You're on your way to meeting all of the miniature communities in the community of beautiful people that are in here, that I just feel like you're going to be this great segue for all of these people, this great path of light that is taking these people that are in a struggle but he's cool, man. Let's go. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. And then they'll tell their friends, and their friends will tell their friends. And then you're doing really cool things. Now you're doing a run club. Now you're like Diplo. And everybody's getting active, going through the community, and just learning about different things, and you're educating along the way without it having to be pressured.
Right.
Because people want to know. Because they felt your support, they felt your compassion, they felt your care and empathy. And they now are transmitting that to other people by bringing other people with them.
Right.
It's a safe place for everybody included.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, no, it's interesting though. I will say, like, once I made the announcement and some of the things that I've been learning, I'm like, oh, this is getting interesting. And then it turned into, like, so I'm a nerd at heart, and I got a competitive spirit. So as people are like, oh, well, have you researched this, or have you read this? Have you looked at the budget? Have you looked at the city code? And I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, wow, this stuff is interesting. So then it makes me want it more. You know what I mean? I get more hungry for the seat.
Sure.
I'm more hungry for the campaign. I received an endorsement from the firefighters. I went to their union and had a conversation.
Great.
So they reached out to me. They said they're going to be sending a letter. I received an endorsement from the fraternity of police.
Wow.
So yeah, I got the endorsement from the police as well. I'm waiting to hear back from Erie United. I just was at the Teamsters meeting this morning as well. But then even like meeting some of the people who are making decisions in the city of Erie behind the scenes, or at least you would think they were behind the scenes, but now that I'm looking at this information, you start seeing these names all over these papers. You know what I mean? So, and then even learning about like the boards and the committees and the commissions and the board appointments. You know what I mean? City council people they can designate people to boards, and you see some of the names on the boards, and it's like, oh, okay, I never heard of that name before, but I see how that person is aligned to that person. And then also when people are like, well, nothing ever happens in Erie, it's because we're not privy to that information, because some of us who should have been or could have been appointed weren't even considered because nobody even thought to look our way. So when there are events and functions happening in Erie that certain communities feel like aren't beneficial to them or aren't geared towards them,
they immediately hate you.
It's because they haven't been brought to the table. Though. They don't have any champions of their communities being appointed to those spots.
Immediate hatred goes to that because it's hate of what they just see what they want, right? And that they weren't listened to and they weren't cared for. And that's just another thing about this town is it's just so one straight way thinking, when the gateway of thinking is endless, right? It's linear. It doesn't exist in time, right? So why would you want to coast like that when there are amazing things that happen in Erie every single day? You just want them to fail,
right?
Because you never had the chance to have somebody like myself or Deontay say, hey, I got your back. I can help you get to point A to point B. Let's do this together. Let's move forward. It's easier to hate. This is the way it is. But it's also better to shine your light that you have and that you carry it within other people that walk behind you. And I think that you'd be a great leader.
Thank you.
Are a great leader and will be a great leader.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, like, I mean, to what you were saying, I think it's a mindset thing, honestly. And that's what I'm learning as well. Like when people are so comfortable in certain things happening to continue to just happen, it's kind of like if we do something different, then we have to work. You know what I mean? And if we have to work, then that means some changes may happen to where I may become uncomfortable or some uncomfortable things may take place, as opposed to I can just sit back and complain if it's not going the way that I think that it should.
What's complaining going to help?
As opposed to me doing the work.
Right. I mean, you can complain all you want, but the time and energy it took for you to complain about something that you can't year after year and da-da-da-da-da. Okay.
Right.
I'm not going to let this happen anymore. Let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can do on my own. Let me start calling people. Let me start figuring out what we can do.
Right.
Because that's just because somebody says so doesn't mean it's so. You know what I mean? Like you have a voice to voice your opinions, and it all matters.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's the mindset of this place sucks. This place is this place is that. It's actually not.
Right.
It's actually really beautiful.
Right.
And it could be as beautiful as you want it to be, but when you see through a certain lens, it's hard to see outside of that. And I think that giving different perspective and different people from different backgrounds really showcases that any of us can be something, right? And any of us can do something in this town. We don't have to go somewhere else. We don't have to be somewhere. We don't have to be someone we're not. It's just getting people to support you.
Right. Right.
No matter what you do.
Right. So, I mean, like, through all of this, though, like, I feel like it's a lot of adversities and a lot of pushback that I would be taking or dealing with. And I've noticed that recently you've been dealing with a lot yourself. So I guess I would ask you, like, what words of advice would you have for me as far as, like, continuing to move forward even when people don't want to see you win?
Because it's your dream. It's not theirs. It's your life. It's not theirs. It's your past. You know what you're capable of. You know what's in you, and you know that you can make a difference. You are making a difference. Taking the first step to doing whatever you're doing, getting a master's degree is making a difference, not only in your life and the life that affects other people that you help, right? So I've faced an immense amount of adversity every single day up to this very moment, and that's okay because I am who I am. You don't have to like me. It's okay. But I am going to continue to do what I can do to help other people, to help kids get fed on their way to school, to help animals make sure that they have the care that they need, to make sure humans are getting the proper food, resources, and clothing, showcasing where you can drop off things, working with different nonprofits. There are so many nonprofits in this town that can help people. When you feel like you're at your lowest, there is so that I am also a beacon of resources. I have worked with so many nonprofits in this town that I can help. I know how to direct you to where you need to go and what you need to do. And like Erie Dawn, they have this beautiful 30-year program that's just celebrated their birthday. I did a speech there a couple weeks ago. They offer housing to young moms that are not in a situation. There's more things that are SafeNet, great, but there are semi-little other ones that trickle down that can help everybody. You are not alone in this world. Specifically in this town, there are so many beautiful nonprofits that are here to cater to help you get back up on your feet and to help you live your life as who you should be living as, right? Not letting anybody stop you. People can say whatever they want. People can do whatever they want. At the end of the day, it's your dream. It's your passion. It's your life that burns a fire, that you know that you are meant for something more than whatever this is. And you showcase your talents and your knowledge and your love and light to the world that will make a difference.
Interesting.
You got to keep it going. You know what I mean? It's because stopping, who's it gonna hurt?
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt them, but it hurts you. You and your power and your passion. And it's just to never give up, man. No matter what, it's going to be hard. If it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be a good time, right? It's a bumpy road, but the road to living your true self, best life is priceless.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I see you put your phone away. You all out of questions?
I'm all out of questions. I might have one more, but I mean, I think we covered everything.
Covered them all?
I think we covered them all. But what, like let's say as like a final question here, how are you going to do it all?
With a team. It's not about me. It's bigger than me.
That's right.
Actually, I do have a lot of solid people who are behind me, who are assisting me. It's starting to pick up. I'm having another volunteer meeting next week to see if we can get more people volunteering. But it's been some people who, along the journey, they've been seeing how serious I am, and they've been supporting me a lot more. So being able to rely on people to reach out to contacts or to find different meetings that I need to be at or different events that are going on in the community. Because again, it's bigger than me. It's about all of us.
Right.
I'm just going to be the person sitting in the seat or taking up the seat, but I'm going to be relying on everybody who feels the need to want to make a difference, and hoping that I can build relationships with people that I can trust, who are going to support me, who are going to encourage me and keep me on the up and up, and then also people I can rely on to send to places when help is needed. Different resources in the community. So I'm pretty much like, when it comes to running for the city council seat, like, I guess I'm the face of the campaign. I'm the person of the campaign, but it's not just me who has an interest in this. There are people.
It's all of us, right?
Yeah, there are people who have taken a very personal interest to where they've been supporting.
How can new people to you maybe that are after this specific conversation, how can they reach you? How can they help you right now before the primary? Do you need people at the polls? Do you need people putting yard signs out? Do you have a volunteer sign-up sheet somewhere? Somebody can meet you? You know what I mean? Where can they find more information about you to help you?
So we do have the Facebook page, the Friends for Deontay, for Erie, on the social media. But then, like I said, also I'm having a volunteer meeting this Saturday, the 19th,
What about those that may just not be able to get out of the house, so not accessible?
So, I mean, I do a lot of stuff on social media.
Okay.
So, like, all the flyers that we're having out there shared, they got QR codes.
Do you have an email?
For people, yes, it's Deontay Cooley for Erie at gmail.com.
Perfect.
For people who want to reach that, they can email me there. We have an ActBlue account for people who are sending donations. We have a Venmo account for people who are sending donations. Just had a fundraiser the other day. We were at the speaking forum, so there's going to be some more speaking forums coming up.
Good.
I've been showing up to all of the events that all the other candidates have been having as far as fundraisers and things like that. I'm ordering some more signs, so when signs come in, if anybody's interested in having a sign in their yard.
Do you have a sign-up sheet? That would be helpful.
As far as I came down here today to create a lot of stuff, but as far as we've just been working off the social media page and the email. So if people email, hey, I want to sign, or people inbox, like we've been doing pretty good at responding to all emails.
Do you have T-shirts or anything?
All messages.
Another way somebody can
literally putting orders in that as well. Emmanuel Beeson, he said he's going to do something. I also talked to Sean Madigan.
Okay.
So yeah, I've spoken to people.
Those are local entrepreneurs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting local, but it's more of a. So what I've learned is now I see why you get those text messages and those phone calls, or hey, can you donate? Can you donate? Because it all looks good, it all looks pretty, but like those signs, you know what I mean? Like
expensive.
Nobody's giving them to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
T-shirts,
nobody's giving them to me. So like my first purchase was 50 signs. I bought 50 signs. I posted on Facebook. I got 50 signs in the ground. Well, 49. I got one left holding for somebody, but 49 signs in the ground in like a day and a half.
That's great.
You know what I mean? So then once I got them up.
If 20 of us had 200 signs, how much ground we could cover in the town? You know what I mean? I think that would be, let's do let's get some signs out. When the signs come in, why don't you do a walk meetup? We could walk the community.
Absolutely.
And we could throw signs at people's yards as we go door to door for campaigning.
Yeah, that's the plan. Like door to door, that's the next thing. Canvassing, going door to door, getting some literature printed to be able to offer to people. I had like 250 little pamphlets printed out, but again, raising the funds. So now that we got the money and we got to wait for the shop to open tomorrow to place all the orders, but this week is kind of like go time, like ordering, putting the orders in, arranging different meet and greets and stuff like that. Also, I'm having a meet and greet at Mabel Howard's 710 Cafe.
Oh, okay, great.
On April 26th, I'll be there from 1 to 4. She has a dessert box that she's doing as a fundraiser as well.
Very cool.
I just strategically place myself in places where I believe the majority of the cities, citizens in the Erie are, and then just showing up to different events that are around, going to different functions. I've toured a couple different schools, have relationships with people on the school board, county council, and things like that. So, yeah, I've been asking people for help. I've been posting on social media for help. I've been in the barbershops, the salons, like sending text messages. I know people are probably tired of me messaging because I'll just send.
You're just sending the group at 9,000 in the group message.
And then I'll just tell people like after when they respond like, hey, my fault. I probably should have sent a little greeting or something, but I'm just trying to get as many of these out here as I can. So, I mean, I've been working hard. My team has been working hard. We're trying to grow the team.
Good.
So then that way, many hands make light work. We all don't have to do as much work. So if people are interested in helping, they can email Deontay Cooley for Erie at gmail.com.
Let's just say, what about the older community that just doesn't always have access?
Yeah, that's why I got to get on those doors.
You got to hit those doors.
Yeah, we knocking on doors.
They're at home. They're chilling. You know what I mean? They're at their senior living centers. They're just hanging. They're waiting to play racquetball. Like they're it's important to reach out to them too because they are beacons of knowledge as well.
Absolutely.
A lot of them have lived through multiple different, it feels like lifetimes, honestly. And to get out door to door, I think is really another positive way to impact communities, get your face out there.
Absolutely.
Because they may have seen you, but they don't know about you. You know
right.
what I mean? It's different to feel somebody's energy than to know about who they are.
Right.
It's a different feeling.
Right.
So, and I think that you're more personable, and I think that'd be great getting door to door.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the next step, door to door, and then getting on the news because a lot of older people watch the news. The news airs a couple of different times throughout the day. So, getting in contact with some reporters and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the next step.
I can help with that.
Oh yeah, well, whenever
I can help with that.
Whenever we can get that arranged, we can do that. But yeah, door to door is definitely, like I said, now that we've raised some funds to be able to get some more things to pass out. A lot of people want to be able to have something to talk about when you walk away from them. So
right, I want to see something. A lot of people are visual learners too, right? So I want to see basically your resume to the community. I want to see what we're doing. I want to see what we accomplished. What are the numbers? How much more do you need to bring in? People like to see cold, hard evidence, right? I want to see numbers. I want to see places. I want to see where we have to go. Where haven't you been yet? Where can we do something better? Where can we raise more money?
Right.
That's another team effort. I mean, like, who doesn't like an Excel spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, I got those for days.
Let me see all those things. A lot of kids learn that way too. You know what I mean? It's just easier to, okay, well, I need these numbers. Tell them what they come up with this great equation. Let's get out there. We need to do this. We need to do this week.
Yeah. So I got some people on my team. Like I got a guy who's working on we got the voter walk list. You know what I mean? So we know what doors to knock on, which ones to target the most, where the voters turn up at, and all of that. And then they when you announce that you're running, and you go down there and turn all your information, and they'll actually send you a walk list. So I got like a whole walk list for the city of Erie. It's more or less just to get a break in the weather. Because I'm a winter guy, but everybody's not going to open their door in the winter. So
I love a cold day.
Yeah, me too.
Deontay loves a snowstorm. Me too.
Absolutely. So now, that's where the point where we at now is knocking on the door. So I do need some people to help with that. To we can go out and canvass in groups. I'll be joining some other candidates who are canvassing the area as well. Continue to share the information that you see.
Like a miniature party bus to get you coming up to people's houses.
You might know somebody who can do that too.
I think I do. I say we can get you in and out of the bus, get some music going, which is super personal. We'll get some flags. We can just have a whole thing.
I'm down for all of that.
People love to wave something fun. It's so much fun. You were in the parade this year.
Absolutely.
It's in
some
the
visuals,
parade.
Some visuals and some noise.
How much fun that is. I know he's coming now. That's why he came here, with the party, with the fun, and with grounded knowledge of how he can make a difference here.
Yeah.
What's not to care about, right? What's not to pay attention to. That's great.
And then, even people on the team to bring ideas like that, you know what I mean? Because, I don't consider all things, so other things can be considered for people to join and say, hey.
Different creative mindsets, different avenues, different ways to reach, because the communities you may not have reached, I may have, right? And I may know what is going to bring out the different energy to these people. And it's definitely good food and great vibes. So if you got both of those and great knowledge of how you're making a difference here, how you can make a difference, even better.
Absolutely. Yeah, it sounds like I need you to help with the campaign whenever you have time.
I know. I'm just the CEO of this campaign at the moment. But if I have time, I have time. Yeah, I'll definitely help out where I can, because there's always time for somebody. There's always time to make a difference, and there's always time to better yourself in your community. So I'll definitely help.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if you don't got no more questions.
We're good.
Number 5 on the ballot. Primary election is May 20th. When you come out there and vote, start with number 5. So I ask you. Everybody gets 4 votes. There are 4 available seats. There are 6 Democrats running. I'm number 5 on the ballot. Outside of that, upcoming events, we're going to have a volunteers meeting on the 19th from 11:30 to 1 p.m.
Where's that at?
It'll be here at Radius Co-work Space, 1001 State Street in the Renaissance Building.
Okay.
So I sent that email out. We've got that posted on Facebook. Also, April 26th, we're having a meet and greet fundraiser event at Cafe 710, which is on 710 10th Street.
Yep.
So we'll have opportunity for meet the candidate meet and greet there. We got some signs. Hopefully, I'll be able to have some signs to give to the volunteers at this volunteers meeting.
Yeah.
It takes 5 to 7 days to get those printed. We got some more literature coming, and we're also working on some T-shirts and buttons. So at this point, we're rolling out everything. It's May 20th.
It would be good for the younger crowd, which would be like frisbees and balls, things that they could do as outdoor activities when you're going door to door. You want to get something to get people involved that has your name on it, that goes places. Further than a ball with your name bouncing on it, going all the way, a football, like mini ball. Your sports, man. Right. You've taught what? How many sports have you taught?
Football, just one.
Just football, but beyond that, it's just a different way of showing how far you can move the community by affecting everyone.
Absolutely. And I did go with a brighter color too. So I use orange, you know what I mean? Because everybody usually uses blue or red. So I figured let's get something that's going to stand out, that people are going to notice.
I want to see it and be like, coming, man.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. What is that? Or who is that guy? So, I've been leveraging all my accolades and accomplishments and relationships to see how many people I can impact to get on my team to help me get to see. So the goal is to win. Like I said, May 20th. Appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate all your questions. Very interesting questions. I've been having a bunch of different people come on here. So, I'm getting a plethora of questions to prepare myself, which is definitely good. It's interesting. So,
thank
you.
Different mindsets.
Right. Thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you to everybody who's going to watch in the future.
Thank you.
This is Samantha Randall. Go ahead and let everybody know what you got going on again. You need any plugs? You want to drop anything out there? You got any events coming up or functions?
I do. So a bunch, actually. This week at Sauce, we have our first paint and sip.
Okay.
It's Gothic, gorgeous Gothic black flowers and purple flowers. It's going to be a beautiful event, actually. Sunday, you can always support Sunday by buying desserts because this month it's actually helping Erie Dunn to help them find funding to provide affordable housing for women and children, which is really cool. The ice cream truck comes out next month. Which is, if you haven't had a Sunday vegan ice cream cone, that's you need to find me.
Absolutely.
Please come find
me.
And I'm working on my 4th book, is in production, just this week, finalized in production. So I'm very excited about all these things, and I love going out in the community, especially giving ice cream. You know what? That's how I can help you. If there's a warmer day coming up before your election, I can follow you with the ice cream truck.
Hey.
Who doesn't love an ice cream cone, right?
Let's do that.
Like, who doesn't love an ice cream cone? So, I mean, that's how I can help you.
I'm glad it's recorded.
We can have an ice cream social party when you win.
I'm down.
Okay.
I'm down. Yeah, we got the primaries, and then we got the general in November. So, again, make sure you stay on the lookout for us, man. We got some big things coming.
Things going on.
Thank you. I appreciate you being in the live stream. I appreciate everybody for watching. Again, if you're not registered to vote, you got to be registered by May 5th in order to vote. May 20th is the primary election.
Where can they register to vote at? Locally or online? You
can online. I share a QR code. There's links on my page. You can go online, or you can go to the district magistrate office. Mm-hmm. You can go to the elections office down in the courthouse. There are a bunch of different candidates who are have applications, paper applications as well. So there are a lot of people who are getting people registered to vote at this time because it is very important.
And they can always register with you, right? Can they do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Great.
May 5th. You have to be registered by May 5th.
And now on your page, you'll have a list of events coming up. So that
absolutely. We keep them going as they go, and then you can follow the Erie Democrats page. They have a list of all the Democratic campaigns, everybody who's campaigning events as well. So the information is out there. We gotta do better at spreading it, but we are getting it out there.
Perfect.
But hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Sunday.
Yes, have a good one.
Thank you again for coming on, Samantha.
Thank you.